Many thanks for staying with us and welcome back to the morning show here on Arise News. It is now time to review headlines on today's newspapers with Ombudsman of This Day and Arise Media Group and This Day Newspaper Limited's Group Executive Director, Kayode Komolafe. Good morning, Mr. Komolafe, aka KK.
Good morning, KK.
Good morning, Mr. Komolafe. Good to see you this morning on our Sunday Tonic program.
Sunday Tonic.
Yeah.
All right, KK, so we go right into it with This Day, where the lead story says Buhari reads riot act to APC leaders, cautions against name-calling, backstabbing. The writer here says, National Convention still holds March 26. Bello, El-Rufai, Fayemi meet President in London. Below that lead story is a story on Ganduje, Nigeria's challenges linked to faulty foundation laid by colonialists. That's a story on page 5 of the paper. Beside the lead cover picture is anxiety as PDP National Caucus neck meet over presidential ticket. And on top of the masthead, 6th batch of 301 Nigerian evacuees arrives from Ukraine. That story is on page 12 of today's This Day. And last but not the least is the story on the window. Again, crude oil production by OPEC allies fall by 890,000 barrels per day. Nigeria ramps up output to 1.51 million barrels per day.
Yeah, the two stories, they speak to the same thing, and that is the ailment of political underdevelopment in the country and the tendency on the part of the major parties, especially the APC, taking the people for granted. Because, first of all, let's commend the president, for, I hope it is not too late, for making that strong statement, and that is actually a sort of self-criticism, because that is a statement in respect of his own organization, his own political party. That is that we are going to elect a new president in less than a year from now. And no issues, are on display, for debate. The disagreements are not based on policies. Yet we are having a political economy which is bedeviled with problems of multidimensional, problems, Politicians are not doing this, and the whole the whole quarrel is about how a party can hold its own meeting. Because after all, what is a convention? A convention is the largest meeting of the party. So in over 20 months now, a party has been grappling with the problem of actually convening its own internal meeting, and that has been presented as the issue before the country, in a country where, you see a problem of insecurity, the economy is facing, severe, challenges, the threat of, social convulsion is there, present, every day, that they're not having this. So the president is quite right, in drawing the attention of his party to say that what the politicians in APC, of whichever tendency, any of them may belong to, see as their preoccupation that this is not the priority before, the electorate, and that they should just put their house in order and, face the real issues, So the same thing, also with PDP. Is supposed to decide on the zoning formula of his presidency. Again, the whole heat, you cannot see any issue of policy, So the thing is just which region, should the president come from, not which policy, is PDP, putting, on the place that, okay, if whoever is elected as president will be able to put this policy or favor this kind of solution to, to the problems. Like I said, it's an indication on the part, the political parties that, as far as they are concerned, it is their internal problems, that matter. The problems out there, which is the purpose, which constitute the purpose for which politicians should seek power, is never their priority. And I think this is a very big problem, because in doing so, the political parties, they are not just only constituting, endangering their own organization in a way. They are also, constitute a big danger, to the polity, and to the economy. Because don't forget that in case of the APC, we are talking of a party that the country, the electorate, about 3 years ago, entrusted, the management of its affairs, in its hand, and now the same party cannot even organize its own meeting. So how do you now trust that kind of a party, to, fashion, policies that could solve the very serious problem that we're having now, So it's a very unfortunate situation, and it is good that the president himself is, has realized this, and is talking, in such a very harsh tone, to his fellow members of APC.
Understood, Keke. Absolutely, lots of internal wranglings there. But of course, now we're looking at the Sunday Sun, where the headline here against APC, governors in desperate bid to save the party. Shift camp to Buni afraid of Zamfara treatment. Yobe governor top party chieftains meet Buhari in London. It's another conversation. PDP governors insist on getting presidential ticket of party. We also have on this paper, Lagos Sanwo-Olu's second term, non-negotiable, and that's according to Ogunlewe. We also have Abia gubernatorials. Ikpeazu moves to lobby PDP stakeholders on preferred successor from Isiala Ngwa to hold meeting with SWC members, wards executives, on Wednesday. We also have Miyetti Allah plotting to disarm vigilantes in southeastern Nigeria. IPOB raises alarm. There's a lot going on here on the Sunday Sun. There's so many stories here. But
Abby, for whatever it's worth, I think we also have a story, at least we have a story about a beauty queen speaking openly about what she's doing and what she's encountering. Not, because in this time that we now have all sorts of pageantry going on the ground, Miss Cell, Miss Prison, Miss Confinement, Miss Penitentiary. I think, this is the kind of pageantry, that Nigerians will, prefer to focus on, not Miss Prison and Miss all those funny things.
Now, that was horrific, the Miss Prison conversation.
I thought I was the only one. Yeah, Miss Cell.
Miss Cell.
Yeah.
That's the...
What a name.
Super CEO TV guy.
Yeah.
So insensitive. Yeah.
Who was
Absolutely
insensitive.
Totally so.
What was the purpose of that crowning?
I don't get it.
It's totally distasteful. So insensitive on the part of the cell, Yes, I think on the front page of the Sun, we can just take this story that the security agency should be on alert. This story of Miyetti Allah, reportedly, planning to disarm the vigilante in the southeast, again, because they're going to have a confrontation, it's going to assume a serious ethnic dimension. So I think the appropriate authorities, should be on alert, and ensure that we don't have the situation in the southeast, the security situation in the southeast, getting worse. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Shall we move over to the Daily Trust?
Yes. Daily Trust.
Okay, perfect. Can we pull up the Daily Trust newspaper? I believe the lead story on the Daily Trust is from Senator Abu Ibrahim, who's the senator representing the Kaduna South. I believe it's an interview with Daily Trust TV, and he says 2023, Obasanjo, Fayemi can't stand against Tinubu. And the writers there, how I linked Asiwaju with Buhari in 2010, says Northern governors against power shift, paperweight. Another story there, APC crisis, which we have discussed, may go the way of the PDP, Buhari wants. I like the fact that there's that U-turn, because obviously a lot of the governors are saying the party is in shambles. And now it's the fact that the APC governors are now in desperate need to save the party. I like that the president has come out to say that Mai Mala Buni will be the chairman and will take over the convention. Now, another story there. Mysterious helicopter raises security concerns in Bauchi. I guess we can read more on that on page 43. And we will not leave Daily Trust without talking about the amount of days our school children are held in captivity. From Bethel Baptist High School, Kajuma, that's 253 days. still held in captivity. And I would like to highlight this story on the bottom of the Daily Trust. Lagos police trail dispatch rider accused of child theft. I don't know if you saw that video that was circulating this weekend.
Horrific. Yeah.
Horrific. Of this dispatch rider had a baby in the one of the carriers of his. I don't even know how they found that out. Yes, there was a baby. It looked like maybe a 9-month-old baby or an 11-month-old baby. The dispatch rider stole a baby. Yeah, so I'm glad that the Lagos police has...
It was apprehended.
Yes.
Apprehended, yeah.
And the baby is in good shape.
Yes, thank God for that.
Thank God for that.
See
The poor baby is just lucky.
Horrifying thing.
Completely lucky. We don't know if it was for ritual purposes or it was
I keep wondering why the baby was not suffocated, because to imagine that it's a human. It just shows the extent of inhumanity, that is that is prevalent in our midst. So, and it's also a challenge to the security, to the police, to ensure that the matter is properly investigated, and that the culprit, is brought to book, as they say.
Complete man's inhumanity to man. Would you like to talk about the story?
Yes, I think we start from the human angle there, that again, it should not be taken as normal. That today marks 253rd day and the anniversary that children that should be in school in Kebbi are being in captivity. 253 days. I think it's not just a challenge to the security agency, it's a challenge to the whole nation, and it should be stressed that this is an open sore on the conscience of this nation. Right. That we could all carry on as normal, that you have children that should be in school, for no fault of theirs. The Constitution of Nigeria says that the primary purpose of government is the security and welfare of the people. And these children are also entitled to that constitutional right. That is the Nigerian state, the Nigerian nation, the Nigerian nation holds them that responsibility. But here you are, for 253 days, these children have not been in school, rather they have been in captivity. So I think that is a challenge, not only to the security agency, but to the whole nation, that something has to be done. It cannot be taken as normal, that it is.
Yes, I agree with
One only needs to put himself or herself in the shoes of the parents, of those poor children.
Advocating.
Yeah.
We actually don't have enough time, but if we can just, for The Guardian, just maybe 30 seconds more that we have. The lead story of The Guardian says, INEC working with insiders to wreck APC. That's the lead story there. But two interesting stories that I think, at least we can note. 14 million Nigerians face critical food crisis. That's coming from FAO. And on News 3, PDP may decide on zoning on Tuesday. The thinking has been that PDP has thrown it open, but it looks like, the final decision might be taken on Tuesday from PDP. If there is one that I wanted to comment.
Thank you, Steve. Just to point out the irony, that the country that FAO is saying that 14 million people, face hunger, that food security, is not on the table for debate, for policy debate among politicians. That this, if you look at the quarrel in PDP, the quarrel in APC or anything, it is not about, alternatives, strategies, to ensure, food security. So that is a supreme irony, of our times,
All right.
Well, all right.
All right, thank you so much, KK. But before
Great to
we
be here.
go...
KK.
Yeah, KK.
Thank you very much.
It's just KK, Oji.
Just KK.
Just KK.
Well acknowledged.
I'm learning.
Well acknowledged.
All right,
so much.
Quickly before we go, there is a correction from Leila Johnson-Salami, the environmental journalist of, Arise TV, that vultures are actually protected under the first schedule and not the second schedule that she mentioned earlier, which means that if you are still poaching on vultures, is 6 months in prison, and that, the consequences are dire. So thanks for the clarification, Leila. And that brings us to the end of the morning show today. Thank you for watching, and do stay safe. I'm Steve.
And I am Abby Owolawi.
And I'm Erji Okbe. From our entire team here in Lagos, Nigeria, do enjoy the rest of your morning and, of course, the rest of your day. Goodbye.